He introduced many laws and regulations for the protection of environment and announced a number of international prizes for the preservation of nature and wildlife. He also ordered to declare a number of natural reserves. In 1989, late His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, may Allah rest his soul in peace, launched a prize under the name Sultan Qaboos Prize for Environmental Preservation, in cooperation with the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO, which is granted to individuals and governments and non-government establishments which exerted outstanding efforts in the field of environment preservation. His Majesty, may Allah rest his soul in peace, also ordered his government to join various regional and international agreements and conventions related to environment protection. Still to come on News Bulletin. A violent storm in the eastern and southern coastline areas of Spain killed 11 people. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. U.S. President Donald Trump said yesterday he will release a long-delayed plan for Mideast peace before a meeting in Washington next week with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The Palestinians who were not invited to the White House meeting with Netanyahu immediately rejected the U.S.-hosted talks, as they reject the peace plan itself, which has been in the works since 2017. Its release has been delayed repeatedly. The economic part of the plan was shared in June and calls for $50 billion in international investment in the Palestinian territories and neighboring Arab countries over 10 years. The Palestinians, who refused to talk to the Trump administration since he recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital, reject the peace plan because it seems to bury the two-state solution that for decades has been the cornerstone of international diplomacy aimed at the two. Thousands of supporters of the populist Iraqi cleric Muqtada Sadr gathered in Baghdad today for a rally to demand the ouster of U.S. troops, putting the protest-hit capital on edge. The march rattled the separate months-old protest movement that has gripped the capital and the south since October, demanding a government overhaul, early elections, and more accountability. In the early hours, thousands of men, women, and children of all ages massed in Jadiriya district of East Baghdad. The American military presence has been a hot-button issue in Iraq since the U.S. drone strike killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani and Iraqi paramilitary leader Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis outside Baghdad airport on January 3rd. 2 days later, Parliament voted for all foreign troops, including some 5,200 U.S. personnel, to leave the country. Turkey's president urged international pressure to force the head of Libya's eastern-based forces to abide by the tentative truce, saying the chaos in the North African country could engulf the whole Mediterranean basin. Recep Tayyip Erdogan made the comments in Istanbul today in the presence of German Chancellor Angela Merkel, who hosted a conference on Libya that resulted in a temporary truce. Talks between Erdogan and Merkel also focused on the future of a migration deal between Turkey and the EU that helped decrease refugee flows to Europe. The number of migrants entering Europe from Turkey rose significantly last year as people fleeing conflict in Syria and Afghanistan arrived in Greece. Brussels' two top officials, the presidents of the European Commission and the European Council, signed off on Britain's EU divorce agreement today. With Ursula von der Leyen and Charles Michel's formal endorsement, the text will now go to the European Parliament on Wednesday, January 29th for ratification. The diplomats from the EU member states will approve the deal in writing. Then on Friday, January the 31st, Britain will spend its last day in the EU before leaving the bloc at 2300 GMT as clocks strike midnight in Brussels. China stepped up measures to contain a virus which has killed 25 people and infected more than 800 with public transport suspensions in at least 10 cities, temples shutting, and the rapid construction of a new hospital to treat those infected. Wuhan, a city of 11 million people, and neighboring Guangdong, a city of about 7 million, were in virtual lockdown. Rail stations were largely shut with few trains stopping, flights suspended, and checkpoints on main roads in and out. The World Health Organization said yesterday it was a bit too early to consider the outbreak a public health emergency of international concern, a designation requiring countries to step up their response. The death toll from a violent storm that has hit across huge swaths of Spain's eastern and southern coastline rose to 11, with rescue workers still searching for 4 people. According to civil protection authorities in the northeast Catalonia region, the latest victim was a 50-year-old man in coastal Amitala de Mar. Earlier, emergency services found the body of a man inside a vehicle in Capaces, 60 kilometers northwest of the port city of Tarragona, and a local official reported the death of a 75-year-old woman whose house collapsed because of the heavy rain in the eastern Alicante region. 7 more storm-related deaths had been reported since Sunday when the storm Gloria hit the region, bringing strong winds, torrential rains, and heavy snow battering Spain's southern and eastern flanks before moving north. Now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Clear skies will prevail over most of the governorates with chances of low clouds and fog late at night and early morning over the coast of the Arabian Sea. Cloudy skies with chances of various intensity rains are expected over the governorate of Musandam. Winds will be southeasterly light to moderate, occasionally active. Seas will be slight to moderate with a maximum wave height of 1.5 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's news bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq sends a cable of greetings to Her Excellency the President of Greece on her election as President of the country. U.S. President Donald Trump says he will release a long-delayed plan for Mid-East peace next week. And as new records of coronavirus infection in a number of Asian countries reported, WHO says it's a bit too early to consider the outbreak a public health emergency of international concern. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, good night.
ولولا ثبات ورسوخ الأمن وانتشار الأمان في ربوع هذه البلاد الذي ما كان ليتحقق إلا بوجود قوات مسلحة جاهزة وعصرية ومعدة إعداداً عالياً بكل فروعها وقطاعاتها، ونحن نقدر دورها العظيم في ضمان منجزات ومكتسبات البلاد، ونؤكد على دعمنا لها واعتزازنا بدورها.
يعد السيد سعيد بن سلطان مؤسس الإمبراطورية العمانية في القرن ال19 والتي ضمت عمان وشرق أفريقيا. ولد السيد سعيد عام 1789 في سمائل بعمان. تولى الحكم عام 1806 وعمره 14 عاماً، واستمر حكمه حتى وفاته في 18 من أكتوبر عام 1856، وله من العمر 65 عاماً، وهو في رحلة بين مسقط وزنجبار على ظهر سفينته فكتوريا بالقرب من جزيرة سيشيل، ودفن في زنجبار. ويمكن القول بأن عصر السيد سعيد بن سلطان من أزهى العصور التي مرت بعمان خلال القرن ال19، إن لم يكن أكثرها ازدهاراً، رغم الصعوبات الكثيرة التي واجهته في بناء الدولة. ويرى المؤرخون بأن السيد سعيد هو بلا شك أبرز الشخصيات في أسرة البوسعيد التي لعبت دوراً في تاريخ عمان والخليج وشرق أفريقيا، ومن الشخصيات الهامة في تاريخ العرب الحديث والمعاصر، وذلك للعديد من الأسباب، في مقدمتها